Hello, my dear goblins and ghouls. I hope you're doing well and that you are ready for the upcoming spooky season. Today's video is a little slice of life reading vlog from me. I wanted to get this video out earlier, but honestly, this past weekend has been quite emotionally taxing for me, specifically because of the attacks that have been happening in Lebanon. And half of my family is Lebanese, and from what I know, they are safe and they are fine and they're in different areas that have not been targeted, but it still creates a lot of anxiety because in a situation like this, you never really know. And so, no matter how small my platform is, I still wanted to use this as an opportunity to direct your attention to some links that I'm going to be leaving in the description that are mostly GoFundMe's, where you can donate a minimum of $5 to families directly in Palestine, as well as certain links to help get aid to Lebanon as well. I am a huge advocate for human rights and social justice, and even if I have a very small audience, 200 people is still 200 people that I can reach, that can help reach out to 200 more people. And so I urge you to please help share these links to your family and friends, and hopefully some of those people can help donate. And I will also try and provide links for any other actions that you can do that aren't just donating to GoFundMe's, but you can also help buy eSIMs. And there are also certain templates for emails that you can write to government officials to continue to help urge the end of this genocide. It feels kind of dismal because it feels like no matter how much call to attention is happening, it's been almost a year, which is incredulous at this point. But anyways, I just wanted to bring your attention to that, to help share that. Please check out those links that I leave in the description. And so about today's video, you are going to see me set up some new decorations in my room. You're going to see me reading some books. You will see a live reaction to me reading some of Bunny, which is crazy. I think my facial expressions are hilarious, so tune in for that. This is mostly just like a slice of life where you just see me go through my days and I get some work done and I go out and you will see a little bit of the Italian scenery that we have here. And I had a lot of fun filming this, so get a cozy little drink, get a snack, get comfortable, and I hope you enjoy this video. Hello, my friends. I hope your week is going good. I hope you are reading and achieving the goals that you want to achieve. I have just settled in for a very nice, cozy Sunday night. I will show you my little setup. I have all of my lights turned on, a cute new little table, some candles. I have some snacks with me. I just made some chamomile tea. This is butter and cherry jam. And I figured while I would wait for my tea to cool down, I would update you on my reading. So, right now, I am going to be continuing listening to Nestlings by Nat Cassidy, and I'm in the mood to draw. So, I have taken out my trusty little sketchbook, and I have Pinterest pulled up there too. And I'm just going to sit, listen to my audiobook, try and see what creativity strikes the mood for me to draw. I feel like I've been kind of ignoring my creative side for a while because I kind of like make excuses that I don't have time, or I have a lot of other school things that I need to do that kind of makes me feel guilty when I am taking part in my hobbies, which is why, sometimes I still don't read as much as I would like to. But regardless, I am here to give you reading updates. So, with Nestlings, it's actually quite a pleasant surprise how much I'm enjoying this. I feel like for me, usually when it comes to stories that aren't fantasy, for some reason, when it's set in like mundane worlds, I find that like I can often get very bored or not really connect or really want to connect to the characters. And I mean, I kind of do feel the same in this story because, there's not really any sort of aspect of the characters that I relate to, in the sense that this is a story about a mother who's just given birth, and that birth has caused complications that has led her to be paralyzed. And so she's dealing with family life and complications of her emotions, her relationship, her new family. And in terms of the mundanity, if that's a word, and the positions of the actual characters themselves and their like traits and personality and characteristics, there's not a whole lot that I feel like I can connect to, but the story is very intriguing, and I feel pleasantly surprised by this because I feel like a lot of horror books that I've been trying to get into just aren't like scratching the itch that like I really want. And so with this, even within the first like chapter, there was some eerie shit where I was like, okay, that's off. That's odd. What is wrong? So as a bit more of those like creepy and atmospheric and like what the fuck moments are coming up, I'm definitely intrigued to understand what the fuck is going on. I'm only about like 40% of the way, and I feel like not much has really happened, but it's enough for me to, really like to see where this is going. I like that we're also not only following one perspective, and that sometimes we will get the perspective of like a physical therapist or the landlord or the husband. And so this story is mostly centered around the building that they've moved into in New York. And so we're also seeing those different perspectives of the building. And yeah, so creepy shit has definitely happened that has like made my skin crawl, which is exactly what I'm like looking for. I really want to see like how far it can go. And if this really is like something that I would classify as horror, rather than just something that's like creepy. And this morning I also finished Storm Dancer by Jay Kristoff, but I am going to get into doing my little cozy activities, and I'll update you more about that in the morning. Good morning, everybody. Today it is Monday. I am hoping for this to be a very productive day. So, in a bit, I am going to go to the library. I have a bunch of shit that I need to get done. But for right now, in the morning, I am finishing up my coffee. It's already very, very cold. And I have been working on this little crochet project. I want to make a book sleeve, and I'm following this design. And this is kind of like my first big crochet project. And so it's gone like pretty wonky. um, but I'm trying to salvage it and see what I could do. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's very small right now. It doesn't really like fit a book, like it's not the right proportions at all. So I'm trying to, grow the borders on the top and the bottom in order to make an actual functioning book sleeve. So I started this many, many, many months ago and obviously have not completed it yet. And I don't have that much yarn left, so we'll see what I can do. But anyways, I thought that I would take this as an opportunity to talk to you about Storm Dancer by Jay Kristoff because I finished this yesterday. And okay, let me regroup my thoughts. So this, if you watched my video, my TBR video, I explained a bit of what this is about, but briefly, this is a steampunk, Japanese-inspired fantasy about a girl whose family of, what am I doing? A girl whose family of hunters is being commanded by the shogun to hunt a griffin. But this is set in a sort of dystopian, again, steampunk world where the environment is destroyed because of all the technological advancements from lotus flower. And so they process the lotus flower to power their engines and their technologies, and the growth of and the smoke of it pollutes the entire land, and the growth of it pollutes the soil, and a lot of the animals and wildlife and plants are like dying or already dead. So the book has a heavy commentary about consumerism and environmental collapse, pretty much. And I really appreciate when books talk about these real life concepts that I think, you know, shed light onto how far the destruction has gone and how much a change is needed, and who is going to bring those change is the people, and that you shouldn't be afraid of the authorities because the power comes from the people and the strength is in the numbers. And so I really did appreciate that sort of commentary throughout the book, and how, at the end of the day, this is a call for revolution, which is much needed in our world as well. But I think that the descriptions of how far the hello, what am I doing? Um, I think the descriptions of how far gone the environment is in this world, and how there really isn't that much like food left, makes it a bit unbelievable, in the sense that, like, how are so many people surviving this far? And I saw some reviews that said the same thing. And another thing that I meant that I saw very often was, this is Jay Kristoff, and this is his debut book. And if you read any Jay Kristoff, you would know, like, he loves his descriptions. And so this was very heavy on the world building and the descriptions, and but like in a sense where it was very, very dense, and you would kind of have to reread certain passages to understand what is actually being said, because there's like a lot. I don't know if maybe I can find an example to read out for you, actually. So this passage is in chapter 4, and it's kind of some of the first description of the city in the downtown area that we see. The city's broad cypress bark roofs were desiccated and gray, stripped of paint by the merciless sun and polluted black rains that fell in Shima's winter months. Clouds of windows of clouded beach glass or rice paper stared out with blind, vacant expressions into the churning crush of flesh on the cobbles below. The vast, charred chimney stacks of the refinery to the south retched their filth into the sky, black fingers of greasy stink and acrid taste worming their way down the throats of the seething masses. So he is very lush with his descriptions, and sometimes his word choice is a bit not like much, but like it's wordy, you know? So, yeah, after maybe a couple reads to be able to fully visualize what he's saying, I really do appreciate all of the descriptions because it makes it really sort of like come alive in your mind and to fully be able to visualize the world that he's created. So it can be a lot and like something to get used to with his writing, but at the end of the day, it's something that I do appreciate, as well as the all of the Japanese inspiration and the world and words that I feel have been researched pretty well. Like there's a huge glossary at the end of the book to help you understand and go back to what all of the words used mean. And you can definitely see some inspiration from anime and manga, especially with the words, with the names that are being used, because they are relatively common and or you can tell that they come from certain that the inspiration comes from certain characters or the names being used from certain characters in animes or mangas. And I saw that Jay Kristoff said that that is where some of his inspiration has come from. So I thought that was kind of like cheeky when you recognize some of those names. And other than that, in terms of the story, when it comes to the main plotline of the hunting of the griffin, that happened pretty early on into the story. So I was like, oh, okay, so like what's the rest of this gonna be? I don't know, like, how is the plot going to pan out if the hunting happened really early on? Like I mentioned in the beginning, this turns into a story of revolution. So pretty much the rest of the story, let's say, revolves around that and like the planning of that. Because this is the start of a trilogy, so there will be more, and I definitely am intrigued to see where that goes and how it's going to be handled. And yeah, in terms of other elements of the story, I really do appreciate the sort of found family aspect, especially because the main character, she has this sort of power where she can talk to animals, and within the empire and the religion that is being enforced, this is something labeled as impure, and you would be punished if you are found out to have that sort of power. So this really kind of dives into the relationship that Yukiko develops with the griffin that they hunted down. And I think that the relationship that they conjure is absolutely adorable and heartwarming. And like, it gave me chills how they had each other's backs and just how much they ended up like caring for each other. I found that aspect to be really special. I mean, with Jay Kristoff, he really doesn't pull his punches and he likes tragedy. So I will say there is, this isn't really a book of happy endings, and he isn't afraid to get rid of certain characters for, our emotional enjoyment. So there were things that happened at the end that really, you know, it gave me chills, honestly. So at the end of the day, I think I would give this at least like a 4 stars. I really enjoyed the setup of it, the writing, the found family, and like the atmosphere was crafted beautifully in my opinion. I often find it really like easy to connect to his characters, and he makes you hate the characters that you should hate. And I think the way that his characters' motives were outlined and like it really builds up the characters' personalities and their beliefs and sees how their actions reflect those beliefs was crafted really well in my opinion. And so yeah, I feel like this is definitely something underrated. It's a debut from 2012, so not something that is circling around the book community at this time, but I definitely want to get through like all of Jay Kristoff's backlist, and so I'm glad I finally got to this. And we will see when I get to the next one, because I don't know why, like I never really binge series. I feel like maybe I should. But because I usually just go into starting the first of series all the time, and I constantly have just like the first book of so many series. Maybe I can make another video about that to let you know how many series I'm in the middle of. So, because those are always fun. I recommend, I'm not really sure if this is classed as young adult or adult. I think it's young adult. And also, because this deals with Japanese mythology, and there are also instances of oni and yokai, which are like Japanese demons, and his descriptions of them, like I love the way that he always sort of brings in a horror element, regardless of, his books being mainly fantasy. He always brings some sort of horror element in his description of certain things, and I think his descriptions of the oni were disgusting, and I really appreciated that, because it like made my skin crawl at some point, because it was like the descriptions of the demons specifically were very like visceral and pretty disgusting. So I really like that aspect. There's not very much of it, so I don't know if maybe hopefully in the next book we would see more of that, because I really love, the addition of demons. That's always fun. So, other than that, I am continuing listening to Nestlings. I am in the middle of This Is How You Lose the Time War. I am in the middle of another arc that's like a really short story, that's like a zombie story, which is really fun. And I haven't even started a couple other books. Like, I don't know if I want to start either Catherine House or Bunny, but I think I'm leaning more towards Catherine House. But we'll see. I do want to get to one of those tonight after I go to the library, and we'll see how far I get with those because I don't really know how much more I'll be able to finish by the end of the month. I generally don't think I'll even like get to Into the Crooked Place that was on my TBR, but again, we'll see with my progress and the schoolwork that I need to get done. And yeah, I genuinely need to find a better way to manage my time. We know this. I've been telling myself this forever. But, you know, fuck it, we ball. Anyways, I am going to go to the library. And I hope you are having an amazing week, and I will check in with you next time. Hello again, here to check in with another update. I am going to talk while I do my makeup because I am going out to a movie tonight and then a little house party, which was very last minute, but I'm excited. I will only know one person there, so let's see if I will make some friends by the end of the night. And the movie I'm gonna see, there is a 50th anniversary re-release in 4K of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So I am very excited. I've only ever seen the 2013 edition, I guess, of that movie, so I'm very much in the mood for spooky seasons. So I am very excited for the movie. I also kind of wanted to use this as an opportunity to talk about Bunny. I was very much in between choosing this or Catherine House, and I mostly did want to pick up Catherine House at the end, but then I was looking at Reddit, and I was looking at the R Fantasy Bingo Reddit, and how this could qualify for the dark academia space. And I saw someone comment that this deals with the main character who is in her master's, I believe, and is suffering a lack of creativity, and while she's in the middle of trying to write her master's thesis. And yeah, so she's going through creative block, and because in this story she's at school for writing, and I really connect with that right now. So I figured now would be a great time for me to connect with that through the book, because I am also in my master's right now, and I'm also in the midst of writing my thesis, and boy am I going through a creative block. My master's isn't creative at all, it's in STEM, but you know, I like to do art on the side as well, but I feel like I never really give myself the time to fully indulge in my artistic interests. So I felt that, which is why I thought it would be really nice the other night to spend some time drawing, because I don't usually listen to myself when I say that I feel like drawing. And so I finally actually did some of that, because I have very much of a perfectionist mindset, and it's hard for me to kind of invest my time in the practice that I know needs to go into cultivating a skill. But anyways, that's a whole other tangent. But yeah, anyways, with Bunny, I do appreciate that this is set in September, and actually it does already have quite a lot of description of very like creepy horror and fall related imagery. The way that the main character describes certain things, she really likes to, she has quite a morbid personality and look at life, where she's often being described as angsty and angry, and she brings a lot of those themes into her writing. And so I really like the fact that we see a lot of these kind of like morbid descriptions in the way that she talks about things. Unfortunately, though, I think I was spoiled for a really big plot point, because usually when I hear reviewers talk about this book, they say, I'm not going to say too much because you kind of need to go into the plot blind. But somewhere, sometime, somehow, I stumbled upon a reviewer that didn't do that and revealed some important mystical or mysterious parts of the plot. And so I'm kind of disappointed now that I know that, because it's like, you know, if you try to forget that, you're just going to keep remembering it. Because sometimes I have luck where like I'll read a passage, or I'll see or I'll hear someone talk about something and then, you know, completely forget about it. But because this has been so like high on my list of wanting to watch, wanting to read, and you know, it's everywhere and people are always talking about it, then it's kind of hard to forget that. This is incredibly uneven, but every time I try and fix it, it's not fixing. Whatever. Honestly, fuck it.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh boy. Let's look at that. Quite frankly, I'm speechless. What the fuck was that? Yeah, no, I actually don't really know what to say. That's interesting. Definitely interesting. Um Hold on. So I definitely don't know where the plot is gonna go with this development and what the whole purpose is, but it's definitely gonna be interesting, you know? Honestly, I really like how all of the bunnies still have their own separate, like, aesthetics and personalities. Like, they're not all trying to be like Regina George. Like, they're not all trying to be like the leader or all look the same, but they each have their own like type of aesthetics and interests. And one of them is a lot more like gothic and Victorian era-esque. There definitely is a lot of undertone throughout the whole story of like horror and sex. There's a lot of allusion to sexual fantasies and or I guess just the concept of sexuality and sensuality. And so I am very interested to see how it's going to continue to develop and how it is being intertwined with horror and art in general, and how those themes are going to be expressed through their art. So, yeah, no, this is it's pretty fast to get through, and it's definitely got me hooked. No idea what's gonna happen. I really love Ava too, though. Ava's I would love to like embody her whole spirit, you know. Wow. Yeah. I think that's all I can really think to say about this right now, and I think I'm going to end the vlog here too. I just want to show off my new spooky mug that I got. So I hope you have enjoyed getting all cozy with me for the weekend and seeing me experience these books and listen to me rant about these books. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week and that you are getting ready for spooky season. I am very excited for the upcoming spooky season, and I'm definitely planning on having little activity nights. I'm planning on doing a Twilight marathon with some friends, hopefully this weekend. Later on in the month, I'm also trying to plan a Halloween party. So stay safe, stay weird, stay creepy. Like this video if you like, subscribe if you want to see some more from me, and keep up with my updates on what I think of these books. And if you want to leave a comment, let me know that you were here. You can leave a little skull emoji, or maybe tell me what fall activities you are planning or what spooky books you're planning on reading. I would love to hear about that. And I will see you next time.